Okay, so first of all, we are with James Bagshaw from the Tempest Band because of the new tour that they are doing about the 10th anniversary of their album Some Structures. And first of all, I want to say to James that it's a great honor to speak with you and that I really enjoy your musical legacy at the moment. And I assume that you have a lot of interviews these days, so I will try to do interesting at least and have a nice time with you.
That's all good. Much appreciated. Thank
That
you.
the EP that you have released, the other structures, it's a great job. And I don't know if it's in a way, if it is a preparation for a greater and renewed sound of the band for this tour.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really nice to play all of the Sun Structure stuff. We played in the US recently, and we played in where did we play last week? Istanbul. We played last week. It's been really nice to play all the stuff off Sun Structures. We're not playing any of the stuff off other structures because that's like a separate thing, and we just didn't have time to learn it.
Okay. So you are focused on the album like it was on the 2014, and that's the show more or less, right?
Yeah, and we'll play some extra songs at the end.
Yeah.
From other records, but yeah, the whole album, but in a different order.
Yeah. No. So in the last song in that EP, the other structures, that last remix that is the SLP. That I have just look for that this moment, and it's like SLP is like a problem in the voice of the resonance or something like that, or it doesn't have nothing to do with this.
No, no. He's SLP is Serge Pizzorno.
Okay.
From Kasabian. Yeah.
From
So
Casabia. Okay.
that's what he does. Yeah, he has a record under SLP. But yeah, he did a very amped up electro version.
Yeah. Okay. I also see that the other new version of Shelter Song that you do with Devon, how it was to work with him.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, we met. This is the one with Bobby, right, from Black Rebel.
Yeah.
Well, we met him like many years ago. I think at our first Los Angeles gig, and we sort of stayed in touch. And then we played like maybe one show. I think maybe in Spain, at like a football stadium. And yeah, we've sort of stayed in touch, and I joked to him. I was like, if you fancy doing a remix, if you want, you can sing on it. Like I asked, almost like he's not going to do that. That's what I thought. And then he sang like the lead vocal on the whole song. So I was just like so happy. It felt, like the best present, because he's got such a great voice, and he really made it a different song, which is so cool.
Yeah. Indeed, this last week, I was with some friends hearing again the Black Rebel, and we were arguing about other bands, if they were better or they were just another version of the same sound. But they did a really great job on the Black Rebel.
Yeah, for sure.
According to this, as you are from Kettering, like a little town, little city from England near Northampton, where Bauhaus were playing, or Spaceman 3 in rugby.
Yeah.
How do you say that is different, the sound of Temples, if you would be near a bigger city or the capital as London? Or do you think something as Temples would be possible?
I don't think so. Yeah. I think when you live in a city, you're influenced by what's going on creatively. I think you see it, like when you see bands that are doing well now. Like it's I think you end up getting like a pocket of people sounding like the same sort of thing. And I think for us, I think we were kind of alienated from any of the scenes, and I think we still are. I think and now we don't live in Kettering, but we all live in different places, you know, whether it's, you know, down the south of England or over in the Netherlands. It's like we I think you just get influenced in a different way. You don't feel part of a scene, and it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, of course. And just to do a review of your works about for the audience, like the Sun Structures in the 14, the Volcano, the Hot Motion album, and Exotico last year. How it was the audience about the last album Exotico? And another question: if you are immersed in the composition process for a new album?
Yeah, I mean the last album, like, that was so fun to make. You know, it's the first time we'd worked with a producer. So Sean Lennon brought lots of great ideas to the table. And then I think it's just been, it's been great to play those songs live. And it took a while to get them sounding good. I remember early on we were playing like the first few shows before the album was out in Exotico, and I've seen some like footage back, and it's like we clearly don't know how to play the song properly yet. You know, it's like you can tell that we don't know what the next chord is. You know, it's like we rehearsed, but it's new. You know, you don't have the muscle memory of like playing it for a tour. And then as it goes on, you get better and better, you know, and then sometimes worse, depending on, you know, whether you're tired or, you know, too much or whatever. But yeah, it was really good, and it's been really nice to do the Sun Structures thing, because it means that we've had to like revisit songs we haven't played for 10 years, and even with that, the first show of doing that, like, it was like, what's the next chord? I forgot, you know.
I
know
know
we
that
had
feeling.
a whole week of rehearsing, you know.
Yes. In relation to this, do you think, or I don't know if you have think about this, but this tour for the Sun Extractors, do you think this is like an album redemption after all these years that the album made you so huge and famous, and maybe you have ignored the Sun Extractors albums for a while? I don't know.
Yeah, I think we have, because you always want to focus on your newest album, you know, and what you do next. But I think, you know, we knew that the 10-year anniversary was coming up. So last year we actually planned to do shows than we've done. But it's just I think we wanted to also keep it like quite special and only play like selected places. And there's so many places around the world that have been really good to us, and Spain is like up there as being like, we've had some of our best shows in Spain at festivals and headline shows. And as much as we'd love to be able to go and play in Mexico to, you know, Spanish speaking Mexicans, but it's very hard to do that just for like one show, because it's a long way to go. Whereas Spain, you know, it's a couple of hours on a plane, and that's fine. So but yeah, we love Madrid, we love Barcelona, and then obviously we're hitting a bit of Portugal as well, which is also a lovely country.
So in a way, it's like something that you do for the people and also for the band. Like, let's do this that we enjoyed so much 10 years ago, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And even like 2 years ago, when we were playing just our whole, you know, bits off our back catalogue, like Spain is always one that you look forward to. You know, they got the best wine, they've got good beer, and they have great people, you know.
For sure. my brother always when he interviewed very famous people in musicians, they always say the same answer to the question where they enjoy more their gigs, and they always say Mexico City and then Madrid and then maybe their home country or whatever, but always is the same: Mexico City and then Madrid or some festival in Spain. But
yeah, it's something in the culture. I don't know. I think you know, you guys like to stay up late, you know, so
yeah.
you can play, you know, at 2 a.m. in the morning at a festival, and it just wouldn't happen in England apart from Glastonbury, you know, like people would be like, they'd be asleep or they'd be too drunk that they couldn't carry on, you know.
Bad wine.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay. I heard on another interview many years ago that you did in another YouTube channel or something, that you said that you were not very comfortable at the state and like you see yourself more like a producer. And I wanted to ask you if that feeling has changed along the years, or it's more or less the same.
I think it's exactly the same. Yeah, I think like it's when a gig is good though, it's I think I enjoy it more now. When it sounds good and the audience are like enjoying it, then that's different. But I think I still get nervous. I still get anxious before a gig, and I feel like I just think about the gig all day, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually quite common, but like it's kind of uncomfortable, yeah. And then you play, and afterwards you feel, I guess it's like, yeah, like going on a roller coaster, you know. Like when you're on the roller coaster, you're like, why have I put myself through this?
Yeah,
and then afterwards you laugh about it, and you feel yeah, like you can just relax, you know.
Yeah, and you have the memory from that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Is the band has the band according to this, has the band some ritual pre the concerts, like in the backstage? Do you prepare yourself in a way?
Yeah, we have quite a few different things, and it depends on like what tour. And at the moment we do a thing where we sort of stamp up and down, and then we ad lib. So like we will sing a line, and then the next person has to sing the line, and then the next person has to sing the line, and when it comes back round, the next person comes up with a new thing. And that's more for like a vocal warm up.
Yeah.
And it also just gets you moving a bit. The other one is we do 3-part harmonies over a Beatles song. We do There's a Place, that song. We do a version of that backstage to warm up singing. And recently we slap each other in the face. That's a new one.
Okay,
And it's
okay,
just
okay.
before we go on, we get like a bit of a slap and then a slap. And then we do it back to each other, and it just gets your energy up, you know? Yeah.
Okay. That's funny. From the album Exotico and maybe your last production projects, also with the band, are you using new production methods? Are you changing your what you look for, or because I know that you would want to do something better, and but I also heard about you that you want to keep the cassette sound of the guitars.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of tricks. I think we always have an element of trying to have something in the song that feels nostalgic, and not nostalgic to necessarily our back catalogue, but like, you know, for instance, like a song like Paraphernalia was meant to feel like an old lost ELO or ABBA song, you know.
Yeah.
But then also on like Exotico, there's a nod to like John Barry, like film soundtracks from like Bond films and things like that.
Mm.
But for me, I like having some things super clean sounding, and then other things very like old sounding, you know. And
Yeah.
you know, like this, I mean, I have stiff stuff like lying around like this is like just like
Oh,
some old thing.
wow.
It's an old like British preamp that's just like some valves and like
Yeah, 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 yeah. I see.
plug like a bass into that, and it's like the best bass fuzz you've ever heard. Like
Yeah.
so, I like just playing with things that are unconventional.
Yeah.
But also I also like using plugins as well on the computer because
Yeah,
you
of
can,
course.
you know, I can't afford to buy a I don't know like a Roland Jupiter or a CS80, but you can
Mm.
use the software and get close, you know. But for me, I still, as you can see in the background, there's like
Yeah.
you know this is like a
Yeah,
tape
yeah.
echo. And
Yeah, yeah,
this
see, see.
underneath is a tape echo. This is the Leslie speaker, and
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah,
uh, Fender Princeton,
yeah.
Brown Princeton, AC15, and
Yeah.
like an old Fender bass amp. And uh, what's this?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Fox Continental. And then just here's a Clavio line. That's like the original first ever synthesizer.
Ah,
And
yeah,
we
yeah.
used that on Golden Throne. We used it on Liquid Air, that song on
Mm.
Exotico. So the bass sound is real bass and that.
Well,
And that is incredibly hard to use because it goes out of tune even in like 2 minutes.
yeah, I
So
know.
you have to record and then just like reset it and re-record it. It's not easy,
Yeah, yeah,
but it's worth it, you know.
yeah, yeah, you have to play with this. um, Another question about the new shows that you are doing. Always the temples has given an importance for aesthetic or for the visual part of the gigs. Um, how do you feel about the importance of the visuals and the aesthetic nowadays? Because some musicians here in Spain, they are talking about that nowadays it looks like that the musicians have to be like always also influencers or something like this. Like
Yeah.
we are mixing too much the visual, no, not the visuals, the aesthetic with the music, or what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think aesthetics and music go together,
Hmm.
and they always have. You know, even back to if you think of even orchestras back in the 1920s, they all wore tuxedos. You know, they
Yeah,
didn't wear overalls. You know, or they didn't wear like t-shirt and like Levi's. You
yeah, of
know,
course.
there was an aesthetic to it, and the conductor would look really smart. And I think there's something visual about it. There's something music and visuals are like they go like that. They go hand in hand. And I think we don't really like overthink it, but I think we just a lot of the time we like having longer hair,
Yeah.
and we like to dress. Like we don't really dress on stage any different to how we do off stage, really.
Yeah.
Like um yeah, it's one of those. Like I travel a lot of the time. I get on a plane and I'm wearing like the shoes I'm wearing for the gig. I'm not wearing I don't know, like I'm not wearing Crocs on a flight.
Yeah, yeah, I know, I know, I know.
But like and there's nothing wrong with that either. But it's I think the visual stuff is important, and but it's also like the music's the most important thing.
Yeah, of
But
course.
like David Bowie isn't David Bowie without looking like David Bowie. It's not just his music that was great. I think
Hmm.
he he brought an aesthetic and a visual art to what he did. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And for your gigs, do you inspire yourself with cinema history or something for I don't know for the guy that is doing the visuals? Is a friend of you or? Do you give him or some instructions, or what is the process for that?
We do. I mean, it depends on the tour. Sometimes we have we take our own lighting designer, but on the shows where we don't, we have a set list with like the colors that we'd like and what we don't want. You know, like we don't want to ever feel like we're in like a a supermarket and it's just like bright and you're like, what do we do? You know. I mean, if people went on our Instagram and had a look at our show that we just did in Istanbul, we'd never met the lighting person ever, and they did an incredible job. And it looks like we had something to do with the visuals, but we didn't. Like, they just did it, and it was so good. It'd be nice to have that level of lighting and atmosphere for every gig, but in this day and age, it's getting harder and harder to take a lot of people on the road.